Commission met last week. There's quite a few items on the agenda. One was the property line adjustment for the farm property. We kind of talked about this at one of our previous meetings. The commission voted unanimously to approve this. They were keeping the same number of lots, just kind of moving around, giving better access to the adjacent Farrar Lane. So no major issues there or concerns. We also had a rezoning associated, or a lot split and associated rezoning for one parcel on Brown Road. They were proposing to split this 5-acre tract into 3 parcels, 2 1.5 acres and 1 2 acre. Both of those have been tabled at this time due to some further questions that are needed to be answered associated with infrastructure, with sewer that's available, and they were asking for some waivers on sidewalks, street improvements, curbs, gutter, those types of things. So that has been tabled at this time until they either reapply or resubmit some new things for sewer. We had a tract split for the Hager Revocable Trust. This was a parcel that was part of the land swap up on Morningstar. After proposing to split off part of the southern section of the property, Planning Commission voted unanimously to approve this proposed tract split. And then we had a split and associated variance upon Ozark Acres. Applicant was proposing to split the tract that they had in half. It was essentially going to create 2 slightly over 2 acre parcels. There was not a zoning issue. They did need a variance for their street frontage because they did not meet the width requirements for the lots. But also the associated covenants of that subdivision require 2.5 acres. So there was some concern with that. They're looking at getting some paperwork from the associated POA and stating essentially the POA was okay with this, but that is also on the table at this time. And then the last item that we had was the site plan review for the P4 commercial, Phase Pond property down in Green Lane. They have phases 3 and 4 that they've put into one site plan review. We've got comments back to them. We have a sit down scheduled to go over comments tomorrow, I believe. We're going to be doing that. No major issues with it. Everything's actually moving along the way it kind of should, but at this time it was requested to be tabled by the applicant, so. But it's all moving along just fine. And then y'all don't have any, new planning items for this month. Like I said, with the rezoning that was requested to be tabled, that may be something that's coming up, later on down the line. We're continuing to make progress on the zoning code. We're preparing to take some sections to the Planning Commission review. It probably won't happen at the next working session, but it will definitely be in the month of April. We're working on the legacy project that we've got with the watershed. We'll be having charrettes and things next week. We've got flyers and stuff out, things are posted on the website, on Facebook, letting the public know and be aware that that's going to be going on. And I believe that's it. We've still got a couple of things that are under review. Trillium out on Murdoch Road, still under review. There's just different sections of it. Subdivision itself is a major issue. We're just looking at sewer line layout, things like that. But no major items of concern at this point.
I have a question. You mentioned the POA. Does the city keep track of that? How do you know about the POA?
So the cities do not keep track of POAs or covenants, and we're under no obligation legally to adhere to. So
that was something that the property owner brought.
the property owner was aware of that. It was asked of them that we were given a copy of those regulations that it was talked about. It was requested that they get a letter of approval from the POA or a letter of acceptance, something along those lines. But it's not necessarily something goes that the city has to pass either, when they're also requesting variance.
Okay,
You know, for
I was
the-
just wondering, if maybe that's a Justin question.
If
Because that
Justin was
was the first-
consulted, not had.
Well, no, I'm just saying moving forward, that's the first time I've ever heard you and all of my members of council mention a POA. So that's why my question came is, do we keep track of that? Because I didn't think we did. And so Justin is always consulted and stuff like that moving forward, so we don't get in a battle against a POA subdivision for something we pass.
Well,
And ultimately, the covenants are a civil agreement between property
Property owner
owners.
and the POA.
And so there are times that if they meet all the requirements and don't need a variance, that we can't necessarily deny. But that's when it becomes a lawsuit between them to hold it.
And it would take us out of
And
it.
it would take us out of it, but we have to consult closely with Justin to see if those are,
Okay.
which situation applies.
Okay.
knowing the
Thank you.
area that this was in and the history when we've had things like this arise in the past, we were already kind of aware of this. And obviously, I've reached out to Justin in the conversation.
And they had a large turnout for fair representation at the public hearing, so they brought it to our attention further, so.
That's great. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thanks, David. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was a little late, guys. I was at my daughter's parent-teacher conferences. Update for the city, she's smart. And I also wanted to note that I am here tonight in my capacity as Mike Milligan. So, because I didn't know where my name of the plate would be, so I accidentally sat down here, and I didn't want to awkwardly move Greg Davis. So, just for anybody who's
Next item on the agenda is Carl Raven's financial report, and that will not be tonight. He resigned this week, so
He went.
he resigned. So we will be moving forward in a different direction.
who drives the car with Cornell plates out here in the handicap spot? I thought that was my, I assume it's Carl.
No, Carl's truck is not inconspicuous. His truck has rated that service written in boxcar letters.
Are you talking about the judge spot?
Do what?
Yeah.
That's the, I can.
Oh.
I got to be up and over that office.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, I was just trying to figure out, I was like,
That's
not here, okay.
That's a big stand.
Okay, fair enough. Strike that from the record.
Next item is resolution to amend the 2026 budget and adopt updated site development inspector job. This is what we discussed a while back as far as an inspector that will be looking for drainage issues or the things that happen outside the house more so, not so much as a home inspector, but during the development process and building process, so that we don't get surprised with retaining walls that should have had approval through engineering that were just being built, where they don't change the grading, so the neighbor's well-drained yard now drains to their backyard, and those types of things. So this is that position that I think we discussed with Will and with Daniel in the past, and that is that position. And it's a job description approval and the approval for the funding to go ahead and place that there. Any questions on that? Next item is the ordinance to amend the ordinances that combine the office of city treasurer into, or clerk treasurer into separate offices for city clerk and a separate individual city treasurer, which would take effect next year. And so that's your next ordinance. Any discussion? Last item is or next to last, mayor council organizational I just got this a few minutes before the meeting. It's the red line version. It's the very last thing in the packet. And that organizational ordinance, it goes hand in hand with the ordinance in item 5. And that is, the ordinance that we review usually in January each year. That's how we do our business as a council and as the and I can't answer everything on it right now because I don't know what got amended after we discussed it. It's, they do go through and edit as a law firm. But, any questions on that? If not, are there any, additional comments?
I thought of a question, about the rabies situation. What's the status of the report? Like, are we,
He was able to print me one for last year, so we will have at the next meeting the final end of year report, budget to amend for this past year. He told me everything but one account was completed.
did he give a reason for?
Yeah, it's tax season and he's a tax service and he's a very small tax service. It's him and his wife and I understand one employee in there. When he's here, it's a third of the company gone and he didn't expect this to be as involved as it was when he took.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
I do have Landmark looking for someone else that can fill in his place.
Okay.
And so we're actively pursuing that, plus we do have the ability to write checks still, so.
Yeah, no, I was just kinda curious as to, that makes some sense.
So, if there's nothing else, do I hear a motion to adjourn and to open the special council meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by
Mr. Bill Camp.
JJ? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Erica. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chris? Okay, that's 4-0. Next, we will go ahead and open the special council meeting with roll call.
Erica?
Here.
Jeremy?
Here.
JJ?
Here.
Chris?
Here. All right, we do have a quorum. And the first and only item on the agenda is authorization to pay the back IRS invoice or tax. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion by Jeremy. Do I hear a second?
That was JJ.
No, it was Jeremy.
It was Jeremy.
I seconded it though.
JJ seconded. Is there any discussion?
Randy, could you please read the amounts that are due and from the work orders?
Whereas the total amount due is $54,747.10 with $35,761.29 due from the second quarter of 2021 and the remaining amount to be applied to the second quarter of 2025.
And also with this, once we pay this, and once the IRS catches up, we will still have the 3 penalties, the fees, and the interest.
One final set of penalties and interest, yes.
And fees.
And
Okay. But we
it,
don't know
usually
that
it's
total.
penalties or fees, it's not usually both, but,
Oh, okay. Well,
But-
like I said, I thought the penalties accrue interest.
yeah, and they will be interest involved.
Okay.
So we will have one final number once this is done, and it will be for penalties and interest. And then the payment should be caught up. Further discussion? All in favor, raise your hands as you say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we got a 4-0 vote. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Hey, I have
Yes.
Sorry, I had a comment.
Okay.
For the next council meeting, I would like either whatever it falls under, a resolution or ordinance, that whenever we have a legislative audit done, or an audit done by any firm, upon completion of that audit, they shall share the report with the whole council.
That comes every time. I get an audit report from legislative audit, and
That is
by
shared with the
law,
whole council?
we have to bring it to the whole council.
The actual legislative audit mails you a hard copy as a council member to your house.
Right. Usually it comes to your house. There have been times that I've gotten a packet of them at the office, but in either case, we have to bring it to an open meeting and show that you have received it in an open meeting so that it's on
Because
the
I
record.
don't understand how then the 2021, all of this back stuff happened then. I don't think I was on in 2021 one.
And do you know the resolution number for this one?
I don't know on this one.
We did one last month and I've got to get it signed into you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that before I say a number, I want to make sure it's right.
Right, and I want to do the same thing, so I will get the number for the one last month, or like, at the end of the last meeting, and the number for this, and we'll get you the right numbers, and I'll get it to you as well.
Thank you.
So, anything else?
Yep, and I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.